Okay, today is Monday the 28th. All right, go ahead and put your first and last name on your paper. Again, it's the 28th. It is Q4, week 1. Okay, what's due this week? We have our warm up. If you didn't finish the test, the quiz from last week, you need to make sure you finish those. You got your homework. Okay, and then we have a study guide for this. We have our test with this unit next week. Okay. Tutoring this week is Wednesday at 3 p.m. Again, it's virtual. We're going to do our warm up. I'm going to do notes on solving quadratic functions. And then you're going to finish your test. Quiz, sorry. Your homework for tonight, if you didn't finish your quiz, you need to finish. And you have, Monday homework. I'm going to make a homework help video just to make sure that you have the problems in the homework right. I'm going to send that to you and remind, and I'm also going to put it on Canvas so you can look in both places. Any questions? Okay, I want us to go ahead and take out our notebook. We'll do scratch the warm up. We'll do that tomorrow because all this chaos and stuff that I won't have time to do that and still give you time for your test. So we'll work on that tomorrow. Take out the interactive notebook, please, and I'm getting ready to write in your planner. So take out your planner and your interactive notebook. Yes. I'm sorry? Let me pause. I can't understand what you're saying. All right, so in our planners, this is a new week. I'm going to write our stuff in blue. Math 1. Please at the top, because some of us, I did not give you credit for these if you didn't put the dates and all of those things in, because some of us just scribbled something in the last minute. So please make sure that you write 328-41, and this is Q4, week 1. Please write that on both sides. Some of us got really, really slack with it, and we didn't do that, and I did not give you any of the points. Okay, I didn't give you one thing because it was very sloppily put together. All right, so Math 1, you have homework tonight. You have a homework help video. And you need to go ahead and start reading over your notes. Just do a little bit a day. Study notes daily. Okay, and I put these on separate lines so you can check them off as you complete it. This week for Math 1, you have tutoring, virtual tutoring at 3 p.m. And those are the main things for this week. Okay. Don't forget that all work is due on Friday for this week. You don't need to get behind in submitting work. Okay. Any questions about this week? If you didn't finish your quiz, you need to add that to the list. You need to finish quiz. All right, let's go ahead and write our notes so that you'll have time to work on your quiz. Anybody still copying? Do you have this written? Where's your planner? You don't have a planner? Okay. All right. I'm going to pause because you need to write this down. This was the last page that we did was dividing. So we're doing page 4. We're solving quadratic functions, okay? Q4, page 4, solving quadratic functions. Okay. All right, so we're going to make this as simplistic as I possibly can, but also be detailed, okay? So please make sure you go back and read it. If it's something that you don't understand, please make sure that you stop me and tell me you don't understand. This is super important because you're going to be doing this even in your next couple math courses that you'll take. So please make sure that you understand, especially linear, exponential, and quadratics. This is one of the harder ones that people think that they think that it's harder until they actually, and they're like, oh, it's not as bad as I think it is. Okay, so hopefully you'll think it's easy. Okay, I don't know. All right, so the first thing that you need to know about quadratic function is the standard form. Make sure I don't have it on pause. The standard form for quadratic functions. And we already talked about what the standard form for a quadratic function looks like. That's y is equal to, anybody remember?
Ax squared plus bx plus.
Very good. Where a, b, and c are numbers. This x squared term, you have to have that in order to make the quadratic function. But this is the standard form for a quadratic function. Okay? So we are going to solve some quadratic functions. Yeah, you have to bring it back before this class is over, okay? Go ahead. All right. So we got y. Let's do. Oh wait. Forgot something. Star. What does it mean to solve a quadratic function? I put a star because this is super important. This actually means that you're going to find where the parabola or the line or the quadratic function, where does it cross the x-axis? That's what it means. This means where does the parabola cross the x-axis? That's what it means. There are different names for this. Okay? There are different names for solving a quadratic function. There are different names for solving a quadratic function. Sometimes they'll say find the x-intercepts. Sometimes they'll say find the roots. Sometimes they'll say find the zeros. All of these mean where does the parabola cross the x-axis? All of this. And I'll pause to give you a chance to write. But this is what it means. When they say solve a quadratic function, what they actually want you to do is to figure out where does it cross the x-axis. They don't always say solve this quadratic function. Sometimes they'll say find the x-intercepts, or find the roots, or find the zeros. Okay? It all means the exact same thing. What does that look like? Okay? Super important. Sometimes you'll have three types of answers. Okay? I'm gonna draw three graphs. You'll have three types of answers for solving a quadratic function. Your quadratic function may cross the x-axis in two places. So that means you'll have two roots or two x-intercepts or two zeros. Here and here, these two ordered pairs. Okay? They could cross in one place. So it's they sometimes call this a double root because you'll get the same answer twice. So sometimes this is called a double root. But it's really only one x-intercept. It only crosses the x-axis one time. Only reason why they call it a double root is because when we factor it to find the answer, it's twice. The same answer is twice. That means it only crossed one time. And you'll understand that better when we start solving. Or it may not cross at all. This is no roots, no x-intercepts. Lord have mercy. Or no zeros. This has one root, even though we say double root, it still only has one root, one x-intercept, and one zero. It crosses the x-axis one time. This crosses twice. It has two roots, two x-intercepts, two zeros. This one doesn't cross at all, so it has no roots, no x-intercepts, no zeros. Any questions so far? Are you sure? Huh. Anybody still copying? Okay, I'll pause. All right. Okay, so now we got that part out the way. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Just making sure. Yep. All right, so now we need to know how we're solving these roots. How? solve or find roots. Which remember, roots is the same as x-intercepts, which is also the same as finding your zeros. So now we're going to do an example. This is what you have to remember. Try to get all these little things out the way so you're not confused, okay? You have to remember that anytime a line crosses the x-axis, what is the y going to be? The y is always going to be 0, okay? You see here, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, comma 0. This is 2, comma 0. This is negative 2, comma 0. This is negative 4, comma 0. Okay, your y is going to be 0 when the line crosses the x-axis. That's important. Super duper, duper duper important. Do you see? That's what you do. That's why you get behind. Because this is what you, when I'm writing, and then even when I stop, where do you go? La la land. And then all of a sudden you start writing.
Oh, which one?
Mm-hmm. Poor fella. It's okay, babe. Okay, so this is how this works. Let's do an example. You already know how to do this, but we just got to put everything together. So this is nothing new under the sun. You already know how to do it. All right, so let's suppose we have y is equal to x squared minus x minus 18. Okay, in order to solve this or to figure out where this parabola crosses the x-axis, the first thing you have to do is factor it. And we've already talked about factoring. So we're just looking at this part right here. The other thing that I forgot to say is that when it crosses the x-axis, your y is equal to what number?
0.
So replace this y with 0. Now we're ready to start factoring. And sometimes y be over here and you put 0 here. Sometimes it'll be there, whatever. Doesn't matter, same thing. All right, so now let's factor this. This is a 1 here. So we have 2 parentheses. We're going to make our little factor chart over here. We got negative 18. And the sum should add up to be to what number?
0.
What? Negative 7. You just be saying stuff, don't you? It's okay. It's all right. Better than nothing, baby. Better than nothing. What two numbers can be multiplied to give us a negative 18, and when we add them, we get a negative 7? Yes.
2 negative 9.
2 and 2 times a negative 9. So when we add 2 plus a negative 9, yes, that gives us negative 7. So in both parentheses, we have the x, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use plus 2 and what?
Plus. No, minus 9.
Minus 9. Bring down the equal 0. Does everybody remember that?
Yes.
Okay. This is the last thing that you have to do after this. Watch what Miss Reyes is doing. Put your pencil down so you can see. So now in order to figure out where it crosses, you're going to set each of these equal to 0. And that's going to tell you where it crossed. All right. So we got x plus 2 is equal to 0. And x minus 9 is equal to 0. Let's solve for x. All right. How do we solve for x? What do we do to get x by itself?
Subtract 2.
Subtract 2. Sorry. I'm thinking about something else, Lord. Subtract 2. This gives me x is equal to what?
Negative 2.
So this is my first x intercept, which is negative 2, comma what?
0.
0. So let's do this one. What do I do to get x by itself?
Add 9.
Add 9 to both sides. And this gives me x is equal to what?
9.
9. Okay, so my ordered pair here is going to be what, comma what?
9, comma 0.
9, comma 0. These are my roots. Okay, my roots here, if I put it in parentheses, it's going to be negative 2 and 9, right? These are also my x-intercepts. What else did I say? And zeros. My x-intercepts, -2. This is how I would write my answer. And then what's the other one that I say? Roots, zeros. And I'll write my zeros just like this. Either way, a list or as ordered pairs. But they all mean the same thing. Zeros, x-intercepts, and roots, they all mean the same thing. Any questions? How did you feel about that, honestly? What are your thoughts? You think? You said, who said no idea? Somebody said that. Did you say no idea? You don't know how to feel? You don't know how to feel? That's okay. Do you remember how to factor, though?
Yeah.
Okay, so then after you factor, you just set these equal to 0. That's it. All right, let's do another one. Anybody still copying? Okay, let me pause. All right, let's try another one. Let's see how this works out. And then this is the last one, okay, y'all? And we'll work on it more tomorrow. All right, so this is example number 2. We got, let me use the right letters. I don't want to use different letters just yet, okay? Y is equal to x squared minus 5x. Look at me using another letter. Sorry. Minus 14. Okay. So first things first, if we're solving, we're finding where it crosses the x-axis, your y has to be 0. Any questions about that? Okay. So second is we have to factor. So this a 1 up front, so we know we're going to have 2 parentheses, and we draw a t-chart. What's the number that we're going to put here at our t-chart?
14.
What kind of 14? Negative 14. That's okay. And we're going to find, it has to be a sum of what?
-5.
Negative 5. So let's think, what 2 numbers can be multiplied to give me a negative 14, but when I add them together, it gives me a negative 5? Yes.
-7
Times
2.
Times 2. -7 plus 2, that is equal to a negative 5. So great job. So what are we going to put? Sammy, does that make sense? Are you good with that?
Yeah.
What about you? Are you good with it? Okay. Hatcher, what about you, babe?
Yeah.
Okay. So in both parentheses, we have our x's. What are we going to put in the first?
-7
Very good. Negative or -7. And then what's the second?
+2.
Plus 2. Okay. And don't forget equals 0. Okay. Everybody's okay? Are you okay? Ronnie, you good? All right. So now we're going to take each of these and we're going to set them equal to what?
0.
We're going to set them equal to 0. Donna, you good? Okay. Ian, are you okay? All right. So now let's solve for x. How do we solve for x? What do we do to solve for x here?
Add 7.
Add 7 to both sides. And this gives me x is equal to what number?
7.
7. So that's one of my x-intercepts, right? So let's find the other x-intercept where the parabola crosses the x-axis, okay? All right, what do we do to find our x-intercept here?
-2.
-2 on both sides, and that gives me x is equal to what?
-2.
So the parabola crosses in 2 places, +7 and -2. So if I'm listing my roots or x-intercepts, or what's the other word? Zeros. That's 2 things I can do. I can make a list, and that could be -2 and 7 is where they cross, or I can write it as ordered pairs. What will be the 2 ordered pairs?
X -7.
7 0 7
Okay,
0
7 comma 0,
And
-2 comma 0. And most of the time they put the smaller one first, but it doesn't matter. Any questions about what Miss Reyes said? All right, so I want you to go ahead and finish your test, please, and we'll come back tomorrow and do more practicing. Can you? Oh. All right, so let's get logged in. I gotta cut those the test back on again because I cut them off. Yeah, I'm gonna walk around. Yes, go ahead. You don't need it. Put your calculators back. You don't need those. Yep. We don't go in 5th period. Shh, guys, let's not talk, please. Why? Because we need to finish taking our